was like, yes, ready.
Fantastic. All right, well, the countdown has begun. We're going to see, I believe this is game 3 here on GSL's Daybreak, and the loading screen is here.
Yes, GSL, huh? TSL Revival versus Spiders DS. Man, we've talked about this map a million times, and I love it even more every time.
Yes, indeed. But first, let's do the introductions. Here we are, spawning on the southern side. We have the red Zerg. He is TSL's Revival.
Revival.
And then spawning on the northern side, he is the Teal Terran. Can he continue to do really, really awesome play and take the series? He's SpiderDS.
DS, that is the question, isn't it? I
Yes.
hope he can.
It is 2-1, correct? Yes.
Is the sound alright, by the way? I can kind of hear an echo through myself, or of myself, and I don't know if that's going to be bad on stream. I don't know. I'm sure Creamy will tell you in due time.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I mean...
Okay. I can deal with it. I was just wondering if it was bad on stream. But, anyway, to the game at hand. It is GSL Daybreak.
Yeah. So,
Alnaga Watchtowers.
Which, of
all
course...
map control.
Yes, they do. They do give you vision of all the attack paths. And I expect on a large map like this, with such long attack paths, that we would have, continue to see the strong macro style. I would expect perhaps Hatch first. I would expect one Rax expands, as we've been seeing all night out of these players. I mean, I don't think they're going to stop macroing now.
No, especially, at this point, neither player is very far ahead. It's,
Your mic,
I'm lagging.
your mic just died, so I'm going to go ahead and cast. Yeah, I don't expect either player to do anything crazy like cheese or, do the one base all in or two base all ins. I expect macro games, and I think we're seeing that right now because TSL Revival, there he goes, Hatch first.
Yeah, I mean, both players are pretty much. I mean, it's 1-1 right now, right? So neither player is very, very far ahead. If we were in a 2-1 scenario, are we? Are we in a 2-1 scenario?
Ah, jeez, you're confusing me.
I believe we're at 1-1 now. 2-1, 2-1, 1-1. I don't know the score count.
If an admin could tell us exactly what the score is, just I don't want to put it up on screen and confuse viewers.
I think that's 2-1 in favor of DS. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I had.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, 2-1 in favor of DS. It's not like you're far enough ahead in a best of 5. It's not like it's 2-0 at this point where you say, I'm going to just try to cheese, just to kind of throw him off, just to make sure that he stays on his toes and try to get that really quick win out. No, it's not like that at all.
No. Definitely going to see this macro play coming out of both these players, which makes me happy because I like these macro games. I don't want to see things devolve into cheese wars. It's less exciting.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
I concur.
2 refiners going down for our Terran player. We'll see what he chooses to do with those. He doesn't even have his base up yet. Is he going to go for something a little bit funky? Maybe going for Cloak again, maybe for going something else. But
yeah, I mean, he likes those
just
Cloak
has that one
Banshees.
Rax. Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, and he's had some pretty good success with them so far. Even in the last game where we thought the Cloaked Banshees weren't going to be able to do too much damage, he showed that he could get in there, get into that main base, and do damage. Took down that Extractor, took down that Roach Warren, took down that Spawning Pool, and then even got some drones on top. So, I mean, SpiderDS doing the impossible.
Yeah, I mean, Revival was just unprepared at that point. So we see that factory going down right now, and the barracks moving, likely to get, imagine, Reactor. Yeah, Reactor coming out. Maybe going for some of that. Going to be able to get Hellions out and follow up with the Cloaked Banshees like he did last time, saying, hey, if this worked last time, why wouldn't it work now?
Yeah, and I agree with that decision making, to be quite honest. I mean, stick with what you've been doing, stick with what you know, and just outplay that player and get the job done, and that's what SpiderDS is going for. He's not afraid of TSL's Revival, that's for sure.
Yeah, we'll see if Revival learns from his mistakes, not being as prepared as he should have been for those Banshees. We'll see if he decides to throw down a couple more Spore Crawlers, maybe get that Evo Chamber nice and early just to make sure that he is going to be safe from that play. I mean, he's seen DS up to this point, loves those Cloaked Banshees, and you don't want to fall to the same thing twice.
And the admin just told me it's actually 1-1, so we were wrong.
Oh.
And all the viewers right now are probably like, how do they not know? But you'd be surprised after you cast like a whole bunch of games all day and you're trying to stream and do everything else. It's like, how many games have I seen? I don't know. But apparently it's 1-1.
I mean, we've seen both of these players play a bunch. We followed Revival for a while, and then we saw SpiderDS in his last game, and the last match was amazing. So, but all right, 1-1.
Yeah, what we do know is that SpiderDS is taking a fast third, throwing that down that command center in his base. He's probably
Let's check out. Oh,
probably
sorry, go
going to
ahead.
keep it there for a while just for SCV production until he feels safe, at which point he'll throw it down perhaps to that more aggressive forward third again.
Revival getting all four gases, going for that immediate layer.
Ooh,
Not even getting to
so
that third base.
two base play.
Yeah,
He's mixing it up.
I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, he says, what worked for me the first game was something different than this, but what didn't work for me this last game, my point was, whatever worked for me last game isn't going to work right now. Let me try to switch this up, demonstrate the fact that I know a ton of different builds, and I can keep on throwing different things at my
Yes. Now the
opponent,
question.
and hopefully he won't be able to do this the way he did last time.
Sorry for interrupting you. Your mic was cutting out a bit, so I couldn't tell. I thought you were done. But the question is, do you think it's going to be Infestors for the late game? Or, I mean, he is going Banelings now, so Baneling, Ling, Infestor could be...
I mean, yeah, definitely an option. He's going to be able to do that. I mean, Infestors will keep those all those units in place while Banelings move on in. But Siege Tech coming up, I mean, it looks like DS is a little bit savvy to the fact that his opponent's doing something on this 2 base. He scouted out that 3rd base. Says my opponent hasn't taken it yet. He just has a ton of creep spread. Gearing up for some aggression.
Spire goes down, however, so we're going to have Muta Ling Bling. Fantastic. I mean, we haven't seen too much really heavy Muta play. We've seen them come out, but we haven't seen those huge flocks of, say, like 30, 35 Mutas, and I expect we could get there this game. Now, that being said, this isn't the best map for Mutas. I mean, if you look behind the main base here, you don't have much room to fly Mutas. You don't have much room behind the natural, so it's hard to get away from Marines. But still viable, and, I have faith in TSLRevival's ability to pull it off, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to stick to this. Oh, yeah, he's going to stick to this 2 base for. Oh, never mind, getting that 3rd base, getting that fine crawler. But it's very, very interesting to see that he was teching up very, very, very quickly compared to what many players were comfortable doing. A lot of players like to get to the 3rd base, so they feel like the economy that a Zerg player should have. But here we go, Revival stocking up that gas as quickly as possible.
Yes, indeed, and an Infestation Pit goes down as well. I mean, obviously that doesn't mean he's going Infestors. You do need that Infestation Pit for Hive Tech, so perhaps just planning on some nice and quick Broodlords.
Man, that'd be really cool to see, especially with knowing that his opponent does have siege tanks. He's going to be able to siege onto that high ground. For Broodlords, I mean, will be able to siege onto that high ground. Especially on a map like this, there's a lot of different little crevices and areas that you can kind of position your Broodlords in.
Right.
The question is, does DS go and grab his starport to make a ton of those Vikings coming out? That's if we see those Broodlords coming out eventually, and Hive coming up. But for right now, those Mutas are where this is going to be sticking at.
Yeah, and he's actually getting those pathogen glands up, so perhaps, I mean...
Muta Infestor, I mean... Sling Bling, Muta, Infestors.
Just throwing that gas absolutely every which way. A little bit strange, but TSLRevival knows better than me, so I have faith. And these Mutas have been scouted, however, before there are huge numbers, so they're not going to be able to do too much damage, as there are Marines in positions, as well as those missile turrets.
But what this does allow Revival to do is attack in a couple different places at once. His Lings can go one way, his Mutas can go another, and his Banelings have to be with those Lings or else they'll die.
Right.
So...
yes.
So I have
and this is a
couple of different options.
This is a map where multi-pronged attacks can be huge. I mean, if you look at that 3rd base versus that main base position, there's a huge gap in between there, so multi-pronged attacks can be very difficult to deal with. That being said, the 3rd base of SpiderDS is still in his main, so he's not vulnerable quite yet.
Now, DS is going to be in a really nice position, given the fact that he has Thors already on the way. Stim's almost done. He has +1 plating, or vehicle weapons, rather, +1 ground armor, and +2 ground armor and +2 weapons, excuse me.
Yes.
Getting those colors mixed up. And so he's in a really nice position, but I mean the fact that he's been turtling so hard on 2 bases means that he's not necessarily going to be able to keep up with his opponent's economy. If he doesn't actually attack and do any damage, Revival's just going to be super comfortable. And he was playing such a tech-heavy style at the beginning that you want to try to keep him on no bases, keep your advantages. So.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got his 4th halfway done now, while SpiderDS is just flying his 3rd out. My question is, will he go to that aggressive 3rd position, or is he going to go to the back 3rd position?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean,
Let's check the command center rally point. I mean, it looks like he's heading down towards that aggressive third, which seems like something that SpiderDS likes to do, and it really can work. I mean, it makes you a little bit less vulnerable to those multi-pronged attacks as long as you can position your armies appropriately.
yeah, your army positioning becomes perfect because not only does it do you protect that base, but you also protect that natural ramp,
Right.
and you're able to protect that from that other side as well. But I mean, Revival's gearing up to put on a lot of pressure. He sees this base coming down right now, and he has a ton of links. He has a few mutas, and he has a few infestors as well. I'm very interested in the fact that he got that Spire so early and didn't come out with huge amounts of mutas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he grabbed it, and he's at 5.
I mean, we're getting Greater Spire now, so perhaps Broodlords were the intention all along, but it was a little bit strange. I mean, perhaps, he got those mutas out and got that Spire up and then decided...
Had to transition out. He realized his
Yeah.
opponent was, nice and ready. He couldn't do any harassment, so...
Yeah, so...
Ooh, infestors! No!
One goes down, but the fungal is thrown. A little bit of a waste of energy, but the Marines die a painful death.
Yeah, so we're looking at about... It's gonna be roughly 16, 17-minute Broodlords coming out. No aggression going on really this game. Just everybody sharking around the map, just trying to figure out where their opponent is, what their opponent's doing. And because DS hasn't done anything but worry about himself, his opponent is now grabbing his 5th base. Well, 4th and a half base.
Right.
And he's going to have all that creep spread to be able to see pretty much everything. We do see 2 dropships moving across the north side of the map.
Now, SpiderDS does have 1 Thor, but he has no Vikings out, so unless he becomes aware of these Broodlords and is able to pump out Vikings, he might be caught a little bit off guard. And that could be obviously very dangerous. Something like Broodlord Infestor is a very, very difficult composition to deal with, even when you have the appropriate units. Never mind when you don't.
All right, DS is maxed on out, and he's going to move across the map at the same time, stemming in some units up to that top 4th base. So he's going to force his opponent to pull some units back so that he can move forward on the creep. Some great baneling hits. These tanks are unsieged, so he should consider what he wants to do about that. 10 Broodlords are on the way. Are those Broodlords going to come in time to really deny all this aggression going on?
That is the question indeed. We see so many drones going down on this top side and such great siege position on the southern side. I mean, the Broodlords are the only hope, but a good hope they are, as there are no Vikings to deal with this and the Marines can't do it alone. So the push is pushed back.
Yeah, DS is scared of that, but still even more drones going down at this point. But a ton of drones just popped, so Revival going to be able to restock on those very, very quickly. The question is, where does DS think is a good spot to attack? Because now he has to worry about those Broodlords. He has to worry about all these little crevices all over the place that Broodlords can sit on and take advantage of. He needs to be careful with his Broodlords, though. Oh, that Thor is getting taken out in a matter of seconds. Links coming in from the other side, going to be able to surround all these Marines. Tanks completely on siege, getting caught in a really bad position, and bombs going down as well, holding those tanks in place, not letting them siege up, and these tanks all will go down. Spider now at 120 supply.
The supply plummeted so quickly. I mean, and despite his macro, he's finally getting some Vikings out as well. I mean, the macro from TSLRevival is even better, and here comes some links into this base right now, taking down a number of SCVs before finally being forced to retreat, although they will simply retreat back a few feet to their Broodlord buddies, who are now raining siege down upon this base, trying to repair the bunker, but it's too little too late. There it is, GG out of SpiderDS. TSLRevival goes up 2-1.
This will bring us to Game 4. Will DS be able to take this next game and tie it up and bring us to a rubber match, or will Revival be able to take this right now and take the Taiwan Honor Cup from his opponent? We will be back in just a second to get into this next game for you guys, but stick around.
Yes, please do.